Well, the BC public sector employees are going on a job action. Why on earth would they do that? Especially at the time when all the tariff wars are going on and the economy is hurting. And private sector has not given any raises because the economy is hurting, business is down. But the public sector wants a raise. Well, they're not wrong. And today we are going to talk about why they are not wrong. Secondly, we are also going to talk about how this province and the public sector has been mismanaged and why is it costing and affecting the prices at which new construction is coming up in British Columbia. Stay tuned. My name is Roshan Victor. I'm a local realtor here in the Fraser Valley. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Lower Mainland, I'm your guy. My clients describe me as patient, thorough, and honest. I'll give you all the information that you need so that you can make a right choice for your family. If you're looking for real estate related information or local happenings, you're at the right channel. Hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon, and I'll keep you updated on everything that's going on in the Lower Mainland. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. As you can see on the screen, BC public workers to start job action on Tuesday, says the union. Some of about 34,000 public sector workers will begin job action on Tuesday. But those who know the details are remaining tight-lipped. Workers taking job action could include wildland firefighters, social workers, correctional officers and sheriffs, administrative professionals, conservation officers, court workers and scientists, among others. The key among the union demands are increased wages to address rising costs of living and remote work options. Members earn 2.7% less than the average wage in the province, and 22% are working a second or a third job just to make ends meet. Half of them report that they are not able to move ahead as they are actually living paycheck to paycheck. And what is the government's response to that? Well, we have enormous respect and gratitude for all our public sector workers. Respect and gratitude are really fundamentally required, but doesn't pay bills. And I'm going through snippets of this article just to give you a gist of what's going on. And it is already said that the unfortunate reality is that the growth of BC public sector has been so rapid recently that large across the board wage increase is not feasible. And that's the reason the government is unable to pay frontline workers more because the growth of the overall public sector has been massive. We will get into that with another article, but let's conclude this one first. Government, in the meanwhile, would be best to try and find consensus on workforce reductions. Well, that could also be taken as they are cutting more services. As we all know, when the government starts slashing jobs, it impacts you and me as for the services that we receive from the government. Another alternative could be increasing the taxes which are being charged to us. Example, property tax, water and sewer tax, any other form of tax that they could apply on us. I don't think we are ready for it, and I don't think it is the right decision because we are already in British Columbia hurting quite bad. There are public sector workers who have gone on job action because they want more wages. And here is the reason why they cannot get more wages. We'll just get into it through this article. BC public sector is growing at an unsustainable rate, warns a business group. The Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses says BC public sector has grown by about 210,000 employees since NDP took over in 2017. And it's based on the provincial data itself. This is a significant increase in public sector cost and a warning sign that we need to get our cost under control if we are going to get the budgets back on track. Nearly 3/4 of the growth is come in the health, community services, and public education, while the rest is distributed between public services, Crown Corporation, and secondary institutions. The group says that it has resulted in a 14.4 billion increase in labor costs. So here's the funny aspect. The population of BC grew by 15.5% over that period, while the public sector grew by 36.1% and private sector only by 9.7%. What he says more troubling is most of this growth has been in the management and executive positions. And especially management and executive costs have significantly increased. In some areas, for example, especially in healthcare, management has seen a greater growth than doctors and even nurses. We wonder why we do not get the service or nurses are overworked. According to the data in BC, 16.6% frontline workers for every manager in the public education sector, 10.6 workers per manager in colleges and universities, and 3.8 workers to a manager in the healthcare system. For every 3.8 or four frontline workers, we have a manager. Now, if this would have been in any private sector, I guarantee you the company would have been shut long time ago. Really, the big problem when you see the large growth in the healthcare numbers is heavily at the administrative front. It's one manager for every four employees in the healthcare, like I mentioned, and no other operation would operate with these ratios. Now, let's talk about our physical deficits. Our year on year deficit is being 7.8 billion, and the total provincial debt at this time is hitting 99 billion. We are very close to the 100 billion mark. The province is trying to deal with it is they have freezed hiring services and has initiated fiscal review with the goal of identifying saving across ministries. But here's the funny part. The government is asking management where to cut back when we all know it's the management that needs to cut back. So they are going to offer up their jobs. Do you think if you were in a public or a private public sector, you are at a management position, you know there are too many managers, you're going to volunteer? No. So one of the things which nobody is talking about at this time in this aspect is, let's hypothesize that they let go of management positions. They have to pay heavy severances. Do they have, as a government, a plan of how they are going to balance the books if they have to pay out those severances? Or do they just keep continuing taking the hit and hope that in some way, shape, or form they are able to tax you and me as BC residents so that they can cover up their mismanagement? Now, coming to the aspect of why I feel these are some of the key reasons that the government has been pushing a lot of fees on new development and making it next to impossible for new developments in the province to be profitable, not only for the developer, but also for you and me, and making units affordable. As you can see on the screen, this is a chart of what it would cost in terms of fees and development cost for a condo in Vancouver. 29.25% is the cost charged by the government even before you have brought the property. So you could imagine you buying something at $1 million, out of that $290,250 is for the government. How much less would it would have costed you if these fees were nominal? And why is it not possible for the government to reduce these fees? Simply because over the last few years, the government has overspent, not taken care of their budgets. We need to address the issue out here that we have a very badly managed province. And the people who are running this province need to actually take a look at themselves. Help you and me, fellow British Columbians, to actually be able to afford the fruits of our labor and also give us what our tax dollars deserve. So, there you have it, guys. The mismanagement at a provincial level is causing the current public sector workers to go on strike simply because they want more money for the work they are doing, and rightfully so. The frontline workers should definitely get more money, and that should be taken away from the management positions which this government has built and has put your and my tax dollar in the wrong pockets. The impact of that simply is also on the real estate side of things. Higher fees being charged for new development. If this continues the way it is, we are going to see a we are going to see a shortage in supply in the next decade. And that is going to skyrocket prices and make it extremely unaffordable for the future generation. If you're in the Fraser Valley looking to know what your property is currently worth, or looking to buy or invest in real estate, there's a link in my description below to reach out to me. Let's chat about your requirements and see whether this is the right time for you to make your moves. This is Roshan Victor signing off. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.